how are you?
I'm good. Good. Very good.
Today, you have a game, is that correct?
We do, yeah. We play PSI today for semifinals.
All right, sounds good. So today with us, we have John Semeniuk, the KIS boys basketball coach. Welcome. So, how long have you been the coach for the Kozak boys?
So I've been coaching for KIS Varsity boys now this is my 10th year.
And is that since you came to the school?
Since I came to the school. First thing I did, on like the very first, we had like the staff meeting on the first day. Right away I was like, okay, is there a basketball team? Can I coach it? You know, and back then the original head coach was Paul Bateman, Mr. Bateman. And so right away he's like, yeah, I need an assistant coach. Brought me on board. And yeah, the rest is history after that.
So your passion for basketball dates back to your childhood?
Actually, well, we always had a hoop on like our front, like above our garage. But I grew up actually playing hockey from Canada, and that was my biggest passion. And then, you know, when it's warm out, you shoot some hoops or whatever. It wasn't very good. But it wasn't till I was 15. We had a park next to our house as well, and the park had some hoops. And so I started playing there a little bit, but I was watching the NCAA Final Four tournament, March Madness that year. And I remember just like in my basement watching and seeing like the buzzer beaters and like the lower seeded teams upsetting the bigger seed teams. And it was so exciting. I was like, man, this is the coolest. And so then that kind of really pumped me up. And then I'd go out and play, and then I got closer with some buddies from school who were actually all like Serbian, and they all knew how to play basketball really well. So they would always, every day after school, we'd go back to that court, and we would play like, you know, 2-on-2 or 3-on-3, whatever, how many ever guys we could kind of muster up, and they would school me really bad. But I would just emulate them and copy them and learn from them and everything. And they pushed me to become much better. And so it just created, like, basketball almost becomes like an addiction where you want to perfect it. And the thing that I think makes it so special is the fact that you can do it by yourself, you know, working on footwork and dribbling and shooting and combining all of those things together. And it's a little bit like a dance, but it becomes like an art, and it's just becomes something like an obsession where you just want to get better. You want to get better. And I've seen it with a lot of our athletes, kids who come in and they just become enthralled by it because it's such a thing. You can work on it by yourself. You can play with other people, but like it was with hockey, it's hard to do. You need other people. You know, I was a goalie, and you always had to have other people to shoot on you. Whereas this, you could just go out and just keep on working, and then you get better. And then so that becomes addictive too, because you're getting better. And I don't know, there's just something about mastering something and seeing how far it can take you. You know, even though I don't have any leagues or anything to go to myself personally with my own skills. Except, you know, working on schooling the boys when we play Tuesday mornings, but it's just something you just want to always just keep on getting better at, which is, I think, a lot of things in life, you know. So, yeah, I guess to answer your question, 15 years old is when I started, and then from there, it's just been a lifetime passion since then.
And are you in touch with any of your Serbian friends?
A little bit. In the 10 years, mainly just one guy I was, but we've kind of lost touch over the years.
Well, yeah, I see where you're coming from. Basketball is a really fun sport to watch, so that's why I'll be Malik's right-hand man in commentating.
Awesome.
So, right, and what do you like about this year's team?
So, this year's team, I was talking about it the other day with my wife. One of the coolest things with them is that they have enough of a basketball IQ. They've been playing basketball, all of them, for years. They have experience together. And one of the coolest things is because of that knowledge and that experience and their skill level, you can draw up a play and they execute it. You know, there's been years previous where that was a struggle, you know, the most basic things. But these kids, for some reason, they just push each other so hard. It's really, really cool to see. Like, there were years when I was doing this, and we would have morning practice, and there'd be one kid would come, you know, on Tuesday mornings. And now there's usually 14 or 15. You know, they're all just pushing each other, going, and they're so passionate about the sport. And then I think another thing that I absolutely love about this team is they truly have like a no-quit attitude, where they really, really, no matter who their competition is, very rarely do they give up. You know, I don't think there's ever been a game with this specific group of boys where they give up. It was, I think it was last year, at the beginning of the year, we had lost like 8 players the year before, graduated or moved on. And so Bo and Vlad were the only 2 that came for the next year. So we thought it'd be a rebuilding year. And then maybe Bo's senior year, you know, then it could be better. But we went to a tournament in Lviv and played a relatively strong team and got down maybe by 10 points in the first quarter. You know, we call a timeout. You know, you give them the rah-rah speech. And they just responded with a fire and a passion. They took over that game. They won that game. We played another team. They beat that team. And then it was just momentum rolling forward after that. You know, these kids that the year previous had played JV, not been so successful. This year, or it was last year, but then they were like, no, we're not losing. We're taking over. And man, they're so competitive. It's really, really cool to see. Yeah. It's such a joy to coach. You know, you just roll out the ball and they just go hard after it.
Yeah, I agree. This team has really good chemistry. Mm-hmm. So what do you call it, your favorite team in the past 10 years?
Definitely one of, for sure. Could be the most talented that we've had all across the board. We've had very talented players come and go. But across the board, I think just the amount of time they've put in working and pushing each other, it helps us a lot talent-wise.
So you mentioned Bo and Vlad's initiative. So why don't you nominate a team captain?
Well, I think overall, like there's Bo and Gio who are the leaders on the team, and it's from their experience, but just they have natural born leadership abilities. And I talked to them earlier in the season. You know, they're the leaders, they're setting an example and stuff, but they just take that. There's no nomination needed of who's officially a captain or anything. We all kind of respect and understand that they're the leaders. You know, we go as far as they take us.
All right. So, and do you have a good relationship with all the boys, or is there some tension between some? I know I heard from previous interviews that, you know, some guys feel like they're not given enough court time, but they do respect your decision and the starting 5.
Yeah, I would like to say that I have a good relationship with everyone. I look more so at the aspect of their relationship with each other and seeing how they respect each other and how close they become, where they become like a brotherhood, you know, helping each other out, picking each other up when they're down and working together. That's kind of my biggest goal, to cultivate an environment where that's possible, you know, where they have these relationships that are going to go, hopefully, you know, for a lifetime.
So, and how do you set a good example for the boys?
I try to be really personable with them, be honest with them, but also expect a lot from them too. You know, call them out when things aren't right, have those tough conversations, but also I think have it in a loving way. You know, I'll get hard on them at times, and I'll get fired up and everything. And we get fired up on morning practices at each other. But at the end of the day, we respect each other and we grow. And when it's away from the court, it's a different environment as well, But my example is really just trying to be, no nonsense, no drama. Let's just give each other the benefit of the doubt. Let's push each other. Let's see how far we can go by doing that. Not trying to take shortcuts, but do things the right way and really, really push each other.
Yeah. Pietro described the team both on and off the court as a family. Would you agree?
I would hope so. Well, we've been on a lot of trips together, which helps that bond for sure. We've been very fortunate the past few years to be able to travel to Tbilisi, and then we have a Lviv tournament we've done annually. We weren't able to go this year, unfortunately, but next week we're going to Chicago. Unfortunately, Bo, Paul, and Gio, Bogdan won't be able to go, but all the other boys are able to go. We have some JV guys coming as well, so that will help with the bond as well, of course. But just spending that much time, like basketball season's a long season, which I love, and you become really tight. And I think the other thing is it's a smaller team, it's around 10 guys. And you have JV, they got their 10 or so, and that helps the bond as well, And there's something about just going through tough times together, running 17s, sweating and sometimes barfing because you're so tired. That helps create a bond too, right? Torture and pain, brings you closer together against a common enemy, which is me in that case.
For sure. And so, also, why is it that you like to dress all the boys formally before? So on a game day? So my thinking with that, it's actually something that I did back in high school when I was on the American football team. We'd always have to dress up for game day. And there's a couple ideas that come with that, or where it comes from. And one is the idea in the military. They have incredibly strict dress codes. Like you have to have your pants perfectly, ironed, whatever, the exact way. Your shirt can only be tucked in a certain way. Everything has to be, your bed has to be. And the idea behind all of that perfectionist attitude, is that if you take care of all those details, then when war comes, there's no question you're going to take care of the details of if you would have, your grenades or your ammo put and packed the proper way so it doesn't get wet or something. There's no question you'll be completely reliable, because you're taking care of those details, you're taking care of all the other details. And so my thinking with this is that, one, it's a special occasion, dress up, but it teaches responsibility in the fact that if you take care of these details and you can show your teammates and me that you're caring that much about it, that you'll put on something uncomfortable, you're willing to do that, then that shows you're ready for the game. You're going to take care of all the details that you have to take care of on the court when it's a, so-called, conflict or war against the other team. Obviously not a real war, but just that idea. You're going to be in a stressful situation, and we want to make sure you're reliable. Are you going to take care of all the details? So it's just another way to practice that. I really like that. I think that's what gives them that mental preparation and chemistry that we see so often on the court. And so now, I guess you have the chance, this is your camera. If you'd like to address the boys, what would you tell them?
Well, we've got, obviously, CISA coming up. And last Friday, we played a really tough team. And we hung with them after our initial kind of shock at how good they were. We stepped it up, and you guys really showed character of who you are, of no quit, and of playing together as a team. And if you do that, I truly believe there's no one that can beat you at CISA. So we're going to go as far as you guys work and take us. But I truly believe in you guys.
This was Coach Semeniuk of the KIS high school basketball varsity boys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Great.